Welcome to Chat Up with Olaimi. And on today's episode, I have with me a renowned therapist. She's my friend and my sister, and today we're going to be discussing a lot more about faith and lifestyle. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Fehintola Daniels.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. You know that I have you any day,
Anytime. Okay. All right, that's good. I am super proud of you. I mean, I see what you're doing on social media. I see how you've been trying to help people recover from abuse, from pain, and it's an amazing thing you're doing. It's an amazing thing you're doing. And I just wanted to ask, is this something you've always known that you do right from childhood, or you just grew into it? Just tell me your story.
So I think you of all people, you know my story.
Yes.
Right? But before we continue, I must say that you're looking so beautiful this afternoon. Please, what's your secret? Right. So back to the question that you asked. Right?
Yes.
You know that we went to the same school, and I studied mass communication. You studied English language.
Okay.
But right from when I was young, right, I came from a very dysfunctional home. I mean, you know that part of the story. So I came from a very dysfunctional home, and I was thinking, what would have caused it that my parents would decide that they would not settle? Both of them left without getting married to another person, but they didn't care about the children. So I was very inquisitive about it. I wanted to know, are there ways to help couples? Is there any way my parents will come back together? You know, are other families experiencing this as well? I really had so much questions on my mind. And then there was this TV show that time, I can't remember, but it was about weddings, city people, ovations and all of those things. So I kept on watching those videos, and then you see people getting married every Saturday. So I'm like, they are so happy. These people are excited. So after some years, they will now say they don't want to be with each other. What's the problem exactly? Like, what goes wrong? If you say you love this person, I mean, you should love them no matter what happened. You know, I was just so small. But then those questions were there. So I felt that if I studied media, I mean mass communication, maybe I could share my plight with people. You know, maybe I could change my world. Maybe I could help people realize that there's something more in the family system than just love. You know, there are ways to solve problems and all of that. Right?
Wow, that's amazing.
But then, when I finished school,
I
realized that, you know, I was helping my classmates, counsel lecturers, counsel people. My supervisor at that then was like, FT, shock, you know, she was like, are you sure it is communication you want to do? Because you go about doing counseling, you know. But then she said, when the right time comes, you will know what to do. And I'm like, okay, but then media can do it, you know. So I did a media mentoring program with someone as well. By the time I'm telling out stories to her, it was always lifestyle. And she was like, this girl, are you sure you're in the right profession? But then eventually, I joined a lot of advocacies. But while in the process, I realized that I didn't just want to do preventive. I wanted to be part of the curative. I saw that there were a lot of people saying, oh, stop rape, don't rape this, you know, fight for the girl child and all. But people that were being abused, people that had issues with the dysfunctionality in their homes, nobody's actually helping them. And the decadency is very obvious. We can see it in the society already.
It's everywhere.
You know. So I found a way to join the curative system, that's the counseling. You know, I feel like the job chose me, and then God has something for me in that line.
And sincerely, you're doing an amazing job. Again.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back a little. And the reason I asked you to share with us what it was like being a child, like did you just develop this passion from then, or did you just grew into it, is because I know there's somebody out there who is listening to us who probably is going through something similar to what you went through. So can you just share briefly, what was childhood like, aside from the fact that mom and dad were not together, aside all of that, what was it like for you, the people you lived with? What was growing up with them like, growing up with people who were not even your mom and your dad?
It was terrible.
Okay.
You know, looking back now, I've moved on from it. I've been able to heal.
Okay.
Right? Childhood was filled with pain. It was filled with hatred, bitterness. You know, the people telling you, oh, you're not good enough. People making you feel like you're the reason your parents are not together. You know, you are the cause of a lot of all the bad
I
things.
kind of
in
wonder
the
why
world.
people do that though.
Hmm.
You just tell people things. You just say things. You don't
I
even know how you
think
feel.
is how people compare people based on how they are. So if I feel like I'm beautiful, or if I feel like the world is beautiful, I tend to say beautiful things. But if I feel that the world is a bitter place, the world is a bad place, people are bad, friends are bad, everything is bad, you will always say they are bad. Do you get? So people compare others with how they truly are, right? So that's the way that is. Well, childhood was filled with bitterness, honestly.
Are there memories you'd like to share? Maybe like one or two?
Honestly, now I've really moved on from it, but I remember that as a 12-year-old, you know, I was always praying that, I want my parents to come back together, prayer moves, prayer works, you know, I've always heard that. So I prayed and prayed and prayed, but then I realized that prayer works, but faith without work is useless. So I was praying, but there was no work. You know, the parents were not doing the work, and God is not a magician. He's not going to make some things just happen like that. It has to be, I want this person and I'm willing to put in the work when it comes to marriage, right? So after then, I think I decided that I'm not going to pray again. But I thank God. I almost attempted suicide one time. Right? You know, I just got tired of the whole abuse. I got tired of the whole experience. There was verbal, there was sexual molestation, a lot of things, right? And I felt like I was not being heard. I felt like nobody saw me. It was terrible. I really do not want to remember.
So,
but
in the midst of all this, how were you able to find yourself?
Awesome. Like I was saying, I was about going there. In all of it, I had a teens teacher.
Okay.
She took interest in me. Even though as a child I was very inquisitive, right? So she took interest in me and said, oh, you're not just an ordinary child. I'm like, me that they don't want at home, you're telling me you know. So she like mentored me. She gave me a verse of the scripture that I still remember to today. Sometimes, you know, it's part of my affirmations. You know, she gave me, I think it's Isaiah 62:15. It says, even though you have been hated and despised, that people will not want to go through you. It says you are a joy of many generations and an eternal excellency. And at that point, I was really experiencing people really despising me. It was terrible. And then it was as if, oh, don't relate with this person. Don't relate with. I mean, people do not want to relate with us as at that time in the family. Like, oh, are they not the bastard children? You know, that kind of thing. So I really felt that despised. So I took in those words, and then I kept on growing with it. You know, I prayed with it. I soaked it in, and I could see it that I was a joy of many generations. So it was that. I'm not just a joy for this present time, for my age mates. I felt like I'm a joy for generations to come and generations ahead of me. And then eternal excellence, that means I'm going to have a legacy. You know, and then it confirms it with 1 Peter 2:9, like you're a chosen generation or holy people, you know, it just aligned with everything. So as I grew older, I now saw that at every point I get to, I found a lot of people like me. But then they were soaked with the pain, they were soaked in the bitterness and all. But then my teens teacher had already, you know, removed me, taught me how to love. You don't have to treat people the way you were treated. You can be nice, you can be courteous. You know, she did all of that for me, right? So when I saw other people going through what I went through, it was an opportunity to help them. Even though I didn't know that it was counseling I was doing, right? But then I was always just open-minded. I was this big sister with a big heart for everybody, and your own big sister as well.
Let's leave that for later. So, something struck me actually. I like the fact that you had an encounter with your teens
Teens
teacher.
teacher.
Yes. I mean, if you fell in the wrong hands, what could have happened?
I know, right?
Would have been
It
terrible.
would be negative.
Exactly. But God just planned it out.
Mm-hmm.
He planned it out because he's intentional about you. He has always been. And that's the same for every child of God out there.
Yeah.
God is really intentional about you. Forget what you're going through. There's always somebody somewhere that God has sent your way that you just need to meet. Once you meet that person, bam, it will just click.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the scripture that holds you up till now was given by that teacher. I mean, if she never said anything to you and if it was the wrong hands, this would not be the story today. But really, I'm excited about your story, and I'm sure that there's somebody out there who's going to be blessed by it. Now, I often hear this, that people who come from homes where their parents are not together, they often they don't have the capacity to have a family put together as well. So when you were about to get married, right? How did you feel? Were there fears? Did you have fears?
I like that question. Honestly, it gives me joy in the sense that while I was growing up, a lot of people told me. In fact, when I got into relationship, guys were telling me, "Oh, you're not going to be able to hold a family together." I'm like, "Why?" Because you are from a broken home. There was a particular guy that told me,
need to do better.
wait, it's right, and I will explain, but it's also wrong. I actually had a boyfriend then, my fiancé, so to speak. He told me people from dysfunctional homes can't hold a home together. And I'm like, why? I've seen a lot of people that had their parents together, but they still had broken home. But guess what? It's all right, in the sense that people, we have statistics to back this up. People from dysfunctional homes tend to have or are likely to have a dysfunctional home as well. And that's because your brain cannot process what it does not know. Right? So the thing is this, if you come out from a dysfunction, even look around you, if you've seen people that have given birth out of wedlock, they also tend to, their children tend to give birth out of wedlock.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though they say they hate it, that I will never do it, but it usually happens. Because abuse is transgenerational. Right? So this is what happens. Your brain cannot produce what it does not know. So if you live with a dysfunctional home, there's this demeanor, there's this way that you look, except you work on it, right? You see that people from those homes, they have low self-esteem, except very few people, they tend not to know how to handle friendship, how to handle relationship, because they never saw it, right? They didn't see my mom and my dad hold hands. They didn't see a man, your mom maybe talk to a man in the proper way, because your mom was she's still having the bitterness towards whoever. That was not the life she chose, right? So she's still relating with other people with that feeling. So she expresses it with anger, she expresses it with pain. When she's talking to you, it's because of you, your father left. Oh, I didn't plan to have you when I was much younger. You just destructed my life journey and all of that. The child is listening to it, and the child does not know better. So when the child gets into a relationship as well, of course she's looking for love, she's looking for father figure, she's looking for all of those things. She finally finds it, but she does not know how to maneuver. She does not know how to relate in it. So when a guy does anyhow, she will just think, oh, it is normal. When a guy says I will beat you, she'll think, oh, well, maybe they manage it, right? She just manages as well. Right, at the end of the day, when she comes to her conscious, oh, I can't take this, and then she just says it's easier to live because my mom survived, so I think I can survive. Because that's the survivor her brain knows. But somebody that came from a healthy background, she has seen love, she knows what is bad, she knows what love is, and when she sees that a guy is mistreating her, she says, oh no, I don't think you value me, I better go somewhere else. So she's quick to put down boundaries, she's quick to stop whatever she does not like. But then the other way around, first time somebody will tell you you are beautiful, maybe at home they are telling you Lori Buruku, that kind of thing. Yeah. So you will just jump on them, and then you are looking for father figure. Somebody say, how are you? Sir, I'm very fine. Do you want somebody to come home with you? That kind of thing. So it's always like that. But at the end of the day, they do not know how to manage relationships. So they just move out because it's easier. That's the escape or survival that their brain understands. So for someone going through that, it is usually good that, number one, you become self-aware Like, okay, so this is what has happened to me. Don't live in denial. So it happened to my mother. It's not gonna affect me. Well, it will affect you because you don't even know what is right or wrong in the first place. Then secondly, you know, you want to begin to renew your mind, like the Bible says. You know, you want to renew your mind in that instance. Just simply means look for good things, good stuff, add it to what is on your mind. So for example, on your phone, if you have like a Davido song and you want to stop listening to Davido, right? All you need, logically, there's no prayer you want to pray on that phone. Right. There's no magic, oh shalaba, call soloba. It will, when you press play, you know, it's just going to be Davido. But then you now come to the conclusion, oh, I don't want to listen to Davido songs anymore. And you say, oh, I want to start listening to Nathaniel Bassey's song. The logical and the right thing to do is it's either you remove some of Davido or you remove it completely and add Nathaniel Bassey. So when you press play, if you put half of it, when you press play, you know, sometimes it will play Davido, sometimes it will play Nathaniel. But if you want it complete, you put Nathaniel Bassey. And when you press it, there's no magic, it will not play Davido, it will play Nathaniel. So that's the way your mind works. It is what it has in stock that it will produce. You get. So if you want to have healthy boundaries, healthy relationship and all, how many healthy relationships have you seen? Honestly, it's a lot. So when you check a lot of healthy marriages and you look at how they've been able to achieve theirs, you know, it will help you create an idea of the kind of relationship you want. But generally, I have a lot of fears. You know, I fear that I will not make it in life. I fear that I may not have a good marriage as well. I fear that I might not be able to face people. You know, there were a lot of fears. A lot. At some point, I didn't like guys. I don't want anything to do with guys, you know, because I felt one of the reasons my dad left was because we were all girls, you know. So I just felt, how are you better than I am as a guy? What do you have that? So at some point, I became very competitive with guys, you know. I had a lot of fears, honestly, but I thank God that I met that lady. I met my teens teacher. I thank God I thank God for Auntie Vicky. You know, she reoriented. I mean, she did a lot of orientation. She taught me a lot of things. She broke down a lot of my belief system. Belief systems are powerful. So what do you believe in? Do you believe that guys are scum? Do you believe that, people from, you know, when your belief would affect your thoughts. Your thoughts will affect your actions. Even though you want
believe that all men cheat.
Yes. And some people will say, hey, I'm men cheat, so I just manage. Anyone that you have, just manage. I don't mind. It's from what you believe. So naturally you will attract what you're looking for. The way you're expressing it. So when a guy is telling you he's serious, oh I like it, and you say, I don't fake it. He's faking it because of what you have at the back of your mind. So belief systems are powerful. And then have a vision. Some of us, we have visions. But the visions you wrote down this year, how many of them have you followed through? By March, you have forgotten. You know, some people will not get too much.
And then next year,
you start. So when you write down your visions, I plan to have a beautiful home. I plan to have a healthy marriage. You know, not just I want to go to school, all of those things. You want to become an accountant, you're writing I can. But for the marriage that you plan to have, what are you doing about it? What are the ways to have a good marriage? So how many books are you going to read in that aspect? How many preachers of relationship are you going to listen to? How many relationship seminars, marriage, do you want to begin to attend? Because if you're going to do professional courses, at least you go to classes for them.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're going to do all of those ones, that is just within 4 to 5 years or something, you know, you become whatever you want to become. How about your married life? Is eternal. You're going to, God willing, you're going to spend more years married than more years single. Do you get? So you need to invest in that. So all of you single people, you want beautiful home. How much time, effort, money have you invested in relationship and marriage? Because it does not happen on its own. It's not autopilot. If it's autopilot, you don't meet your head, all of you will just fall on crutches. Do you get? But you need to do something about it, because you would attract the kind of things you read and the kinds of things you think about, because there's something called law of attraction.
Law of attraction. Okay, so for somebody out there now who is listening to us and is actually struggling with a lot of issues, pain from childhood, till now and still trying to find clarity in purpose, what would you advise?
My dear, I know how you feel. I love you. Honestly.
I love you too.
I love you. I want you to know that you are not your pain. I need you to understand that it is not your fault. I need you to know that one. Whether they did it intentionally or not, it is not your fault. You were sitting with Baba God, and some people say, let us have fun, let's sleep with each other.
And you were not born by mistake.
It happened. But guess what? God was in heaven, and he was like, I need somebody to go to that. Those people that they are doing this thing. I need somebody to go there. Are you going to go? And he was like, and then he said, this is what you will do when you get there. Because everybody God created, he had purpose and plan for them. Right. It's just the path that you pass may not be what you like. But guess what? There is a purpose in it. And the earlier we find out what that purpose is, right, the better for you, and you will become so fulfilled. Right. It might be painful, honestly. Very painful. But guess what? All of us were just sitting with God. And he says, see, I have plans for you, I have plans for you, I have plans for you. But
yeah.
If he had, so that's why I'm telling you that it's not even your fault. It's not at all. It's not your fault. I just want you to take it to heart, to say that no matter how I came into this world, I will live better. I will do better than where I came from, better than how I came, so that people that will come out of you will be glad that you did the work. I said earlier that abuse is transgenerational, except one person breaks the circle. And the moment you break the circle, your children will not attract what you're attracting, because you're leading a better life. You're leading a good life for them to see. And whatever they see, you don't tell children what to do. They see what you do, yes, and they begin to act on it. You find that some children are angry. Go and check how their home is. Maybe they've been taught with anger, because children learn, right? So you will do better. I can tell you this afternoon, wherever time you're watching this, you will do better, and you will do the work. It might be hard. Yeah, so people like us, we have visions, we have plans. Our plan or our lives is to impact others and make our world a better place. If people like you don't do it, our world will actually suffer.
Yeah.
Right? So I love you, and I know that you will do the work.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes. So thank you so much. You've heard it from my friend. Now, I understand that we go through some certain type of pain that we just feel it's so much unbearable, but the truth remains that there's an audience waiting to hear your story.
Yes.
Right? And if your story doesn't get to that audience, the destiny of a lot of people, their freedom lies with you. It lies in that story.
Yes.
So if you're not going to share that story, lots of destinies would be at what's the word? It can't be at stake. At stake is wrong. Lots of destinies would be destroyed, yes, and delayed as well. So the truth about it is, we go through pain. We just need to ask God, why am I in this? Like she rightly said. So there's a purpose for every pain. Ask God, why am I in this? What's the purpose here? The moment you're able to find what the purpose is, then boom, you're in it already. If Joseph had known that his life was going to be like that, he probably would have told God that, in fact, I'm not interested in becoming the prime minister. Mm-hmm. But he didn't understand. He knew where he was going, right? But he didn't know the process. He didn't know Potiphar's wife was going to do this. He didn't understand that his brothers were going to reject him. He didn't know all the whole thing, everything he went through. He just did not know that those things were going to happen to him. He thought it was going to be a smooth journey. But guess what? It didn't happen that way. It was from one issue, from one terrible incident to the other. But in the end, he became the prime minister. So it's all left with you, for you to decide. So you need to decide today. My pain, what purpose am I to serve with this pain? So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
I was so happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so this is FT, and she is a therapist. Tell us what you do, basically.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to share, because
Thank
this
you
is
for
a
being
platform
here too.
that I know that a lot of other people would be blessed, right? I just want to say that imagine if I remained in that bitterness or in that hatred, just like you have mentioned, Joseph. I like to also use myself to say, imagine, like a lot of couples, I've worked with over 1,000 people, right? Married and unmarried.
Yes, and I see testimonies too.
Yeah. So imagine those people will not get help. So I just want to encourage you as well. So right, my name is Fehintola Daniels. I'm a family and abuse recovery therapist. I help people to heal from their past pain, from abuse of whatever form, right? And I also help people to build structures that would provide or aid their happily ever after, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to enjoy the good things of this earth, right? I will love to work with you.
All right, so thank you so much for being here. And this is Chat Up with Olaimi. If you're yet to follow us on social media, please go on Instagram. Our Instagram handle will be displayed on the screen. And on YouTube, you'll find us there at Chat Up with Olaimi. It was nice having you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
God bless you. Thank you.